Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome to another awesome video. And today I just really wanted to rant about the current situation going on over at, Fortnite. Not really Epic, just Fortnite as a game and the whole current climate of it cuz it's not very good. Now, before I get into how Fortnite's current climate is probably the worst it has ever been and will ever be, I want to first go over the past and how we got here. Now, the launch era is an era I'm going to mark starting Chapter 1, Season 1, going to Chapter 2, Season 1. So pretty easy of a gauge there. Now, if you ask me, I personally think that this is one of the best times in Fortnite. I mean, playing the game when it first came out was a genuine treat, and having everybody play it and it being a game that like all of your friends would get on after school or something was actually like an insane experience that we will never get to really have again. And it's kind of sad, honestly, that future generations really won't get to have this again if we keep going in the direction gaming's going. Now, I'd say the mid era of the game spans from Chapter 2, Season 1 to Chapter 2, Season 8. It's really just a mid era of the game that really nothing happens. This isn't a story video. I'm talking entirely over like corporate decisions and like how the game evolved and changed. Outside of there being like a new map or whatever, really nothing happened in this area. Now, the pre-evil era, I'm going to mark starting Chapter 3, Season 1, all the way to Chapter 3, Season 4. Again, there's really not much to say about it, but the ending is where I do want to talk a bit. Now, I don't know how many people know this, but if you are an avid gamer, specifically Fortnite, in Chapter 3, Season 3, I want to say, then you will know that the season was pretty boring and out of place. I mean, it was themed around a whole party. I mean, sure, if you pay attention to the lore, then like it was after a war or whatever, but it just really didn't make sense for a Fortnite season until you actually look into it and find out that it was Donald Mustard, the head director, story director, all the basically the guy who was calling the shots of where the game would go and like not financial areas, but like story wise and what features would be implemented and how and all that stuff. It was his last season. I'm pretty sure working on. I don't remember correctly. Don't quote me on this. If I can find what season his last one was, I'll throw it up. I could be way off, but I know that the season was a send off for him because he was, I mean, just such an important part of the game's creation. And after that, I'm good. It really starts to go downhill. So let's get into the next era. Now, the Rising Evil era, I will mark starting Chapter 4, Season 1 to Chapter 4, Season 4. This is when we start to really get a feel for how the game is going to go. Not story-wise, because, again, not a story video, but really just get a feel for where this game is going to go and the direction it is going. And I'll spoil a little spoiler here, it's not up. Now, big things that happened in this era really just I really don't want to get into the lore of the game because that's kind of cringe, but I mean, it didn't. If you were like a lore guy, it didn't really make sense how the story was like stitched together from the end of Chapter 3, Season 4 to the beginning of Chapter 4, Season 1. If y'all want a lore video, I'll make one IG, but like this isn't a lore video. But the lore not being very, correct in order is actually somewhat important to us and important to this video because it is around this time when Charlie Wen, the stand-in for Donald Mustard, really takes hold. And my god, does he just drive it into the ground. Let's get on to the next era. Now the evil era. I'll mark this one as the evil era. It's starting from chapter 5 season 1 to chapter 5 season 4. At this point, people have fully cemented the belief that chapters are only going to be 4 seasons now, not even close to 10. And we're only going to get like year-long chapters. We're not going to have any sentimental value with any of these chapters. And I did forget to throw in the end of the last era, but the OG map, which is, I mean, like, the one thing everybody wanted back, came back. And, it saw the, like, greatest peak of Fortnite, I think, ever. I think it actually broke the records that it held before in, like, Prime 2018. And Charlie, when seeing this, had some dollar signs in his eyes and said, well, that was so good, I'd rather have it a second time. But we'll get to that in a second. Because this, at least for me, is when I can really start to see the tone shift in the game. Because this was, 3 years ago? I was a Fortnite, like, I wouldn't say fanatic, but I knew the lore by heart, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I had, like, a copy of the Fortnite lore book they would hand out in, like, a CVS aisle or something. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I had some physical, like, interpretation of lore. And let me tell you, like, 12-year-old me, I was not happy at the state of the game. I understand how the OG season fit in with the lore. It didn't make any sense, and I was getting mad. And then at some point, a while, way too long later, I kind of stepped back and I was like, man, I gotta stop caring about this stuff. But to most people, it looked like Epic, Charlie Wen, whoever, just wanted to do something nice for the fans, and people even stated that it was Donald Mustard's last gift to us from him as his final goodbye, which I'm pretty sure he was already gone by now, but I don't know. Again, throwing it up on screen. Don't I want to not be you know just going from memory. This isn't a scripted video, by the way. I don't script videos. I'm just yapping, and I don't know how well they're gonna hold up, and so yeah. Now, alongside, and maybe the final thing I want to speak on the OG season, is that it was very unique because it was a season, but it was only a month-long season. And this would quickly become a new fad in the Fortnite space, and also something I will quickly come to resent. Because once you do one OG 30-day season, that's amazing. That's awesome that we did that. Let's let's go on with the game. Let's see where else we can go, right? And my god, I am very, very sad we did, because now we're going back into the evil era with chapter 5 season 1. I know for some unknown ungodly reason, people glazed the hell out of the season, stating that it was like a better than OG season and better than any of the OG seasons, like chapter 1 season 9 doesn't exist. But I digress. Yeah, no, all of chapter 5 was like the food you find at the bottom of your garbage disposal. I mean, it was the worst chapter this game has ever seen. I don't think we can ever stoop that low. And it's really funny because I remember seeing people hate on it so much, and now that it's over, oh my god, oh heavens, Betsy, it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't get it. I don't get how people can just turn around 3 years after a terrible season ends and be like, hey, that was actually incredibly good. That's going in my top 5 seasons. It was terrible. All of them except for one. Except for two, actually. Those two being, and these might be a bit controversial. I know the second one's going to be, yeah, it's going to ruffle some feathers up, but, the first one, Chapter 5, Season 2, really wasn't that bad compared to all of the other seasons. And this one, people aren't gonna like, but Chapter 5, Season 3 was genuinely the only good season in Chapter 5. I'm sorry. I know that there was a genuine civil war, and I've debated. I think I'm going to make a whole video on just how absolutely insane it was to be a fan of that season on, like, launch week. Hell, just that season in general. But let's continue. Now, since I've already gotten this far, I'm just going to do the last season of Chapter 5. Chapter 5, Season 4. The trailer made it look way more hype than it actually was. The gameplay was super dog. Dog water, I'm telling you right now, it was some of the worst gameplay I've ever had in the season. It wasn't really all that fun. Captain America's shield and what was it, War Machine's turret, I think. Little burp there. Turret was, I mean, the worst combination to fight against. And honestly, it really wasn't that good of a season. Because they reworked Cap's shields too, and they said, I don't want to blame the leakers. I don't. We're really getting into it now, right? But they also, yeah, some leaks did come out that the old Fortnite, collab mythics with the Marvel season would come back. They never came back, and I'm still pretty salty about that. Where the hell are the mythics? I know they're there. I know they're somewhere in the files. I want them back. Where are they? Let me play with Mjolnir again. Please. 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 Now, this era of Fortnite, I will classify as the pre-corp era. Even really, fusing in kind of towards the end with a corporation era. But this one will start from chapter 6, season 1 to chapter 6, season 4. It was honestly, after chapter 5 drug me through the dirt. For some reason, I'm still playing this game. um, I played chapter 6 every season a good amount, and I was so weak from chapter 5. I didn't have the energy to enjoy it properly. But looking back at it now, it didn't have that terrible of seasons, I guess. A lot of people say that chapter 6 season 1 was good. I honestly have to disagree. I didn't find it that entertaining, but I mean, to each their own, right? I don't want to yuck somebody else's yum, right? Chapter 6, Season 2, honestly, I adored the marketing for this one. I think it's the best marketing we've ever had for a season. Yes, I know Chapter 2, Season 2 still exists, but honestly, having T-Pain and a Fortnite interpretation of, like, a rapper, of, like, King Von, was, like, really funny. And to see them beef over the next, like, 2 or 3 weeks was really enjoyable. But that's just me. That's just me, right? That's just me. Chapter 6, Season 3, it was a summer season, the hero season. I tend to like summer seasons more than regular, like, winter seasons. But yeah, no, this one it wasn't too bad. I mean, I didn't play it a ton. It had its flaws, right? But it wasn't anything too special. It wasn't anything too bad, and the event was actually good, despite what people on Twitter are gonna tell you. The Kraken event did happen, and it is in my top 5. Chapter 6, Season 4. Big old nothing burger. Gonna tell you that right now. Chapter 6, Season 4. You really get a feel for, like, oh, everything is monetized now. They really don't care, right? Do they? It was like a whole bug season. I ain't really enjoy it that much, but this video is slowly turning into a tier list, unfortunately. I keep skipping over mini seasons by accident. In between the ending of Chapter 6 Season 2 and the release of Chapter 6 Season 3, there was a mini season. That was the Star Wars mini season. That was a terrible season. Because not only did it not make any sense to be in the game, it was so obviously a cash grab. I mean, back in Chapter 4, maybe the best Star Wars update and collab for May the 4th we've ever had, and we downgrade to something like that, where we have, like, starships in the sky going, like, 40 miles per hour. Like, genuinely, my grandmother can go faster on her walker than that TIE fighter. And now that I'm bringing up mini seasons, I should just do a whole thing on them, because I skipped over another one. For some reason, even though I said I would talk about it, I skipped over Chapter 2 Remix. Now, hold on, because this wasn't that bad. For what it did good. I personally didn't mind the rapper theme as much as I thought I would. I thought I was going to hate it. And that I'm going to blame Epic on. Because, to my memory, if it serves me well, I don't remember them saying, "Hey, this is going to be like a rapper theme," up until, like, the release of the trailer. Like, I don't think we knew that Snoop Dogg and Ice Spice were gonna pop out on some "Drop It Like It's Hot" until the, like, night it released. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't think so, though. Now, I don't want to diss on the OG Chapter 2 season, really, because it was good. Once I really got into the vibe of a rapper season, yeah, it wasn't that bad, right? For what it did well. I personally hated the changes to all the OG locations for Chapter 2, Season 2, but honestly, it didn't affect me that much, so, the dog pounds, you're okay in my book. But I still think it was pretty weird having an inflatable Ice Spice spray their ass over the shark. And yeah, we had Juice World at the end of the season, which honestly, I I I, I didn't really listen to him before that season, or I knew of him. I knew Lucid Dreams like everybody else and their mom, but I didn't really listen to him. The premiere of Empty Out Your Pockets, again, another experience that I don't think anyone else will get to really have in the future, because it was something. But let's get into the modern era. The modern corporation era. We have the corporation era, as I just said. But Fortnite has turned into a husk of its former self. Before, the game was cartoony, vibrant, and lively. But now it is gray and just hollow. And as much as it tries to put out these bright, whimsical colors with all this magic and whatever, it still feels so soulless. I have a question for you. What happens to a pumpkin that you don't carve? Don't carve, not a jack o' lantern, a pumpkin that you buy, and let's say late October, and you for some reason it's like the night of Halloween, and you put out a nice pumpkin on your porch, and you forget about that pumpkin until about mid to late November. It might not look too terrible on the outside, but on the inside, I'll tell you right now, it is foul. And that is what I think Fortnite's current state looks like. It looks like a very polished pumpkin with a completely hollow and dead inside. Because tell me why a fully lore driven season this season, right now, Chapter 7, Season 2, its third act is completely taken over by Overwatch. Tell me why that even after two Marvel seasons, a Star Wars seasons, and a Simpsons season that I didn't go over, I'll make a whole video on that. It deserves its own video. That Fortnite is still adding random collabs that nobody wants. Because who wants Tracer in the game? Me personally, I don't. Maybe some like gooner out there does. Maybe they want to just stare at her body the entire game, but that's not me. So I can't really relate. But look, guys, I'm gonna be honest. This video did not go the direction I set up for it to be going. I really just started talking and didn't stop until about right now. So, yeah, I hope my raw emotion and thoughts can somehow form something in your brain. It doesn't really form anything in my brain. I kind of just turn that off and start using my mouth. But hopefully, if it did form something in your brain, you did like this video, and if you did, why don't you hit the subscribe and hit that noti bell for the next upload in like 3 years? I don't know. No, no, no. But I'm not gonna say that. We're gonna get some uploads out this year though. But with that, guys, sorry for the very everywhere video, kind of all over the walls. But yeah, with that, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.